Speed transmission. We built these cars up in the car. He was called the Intimidator on the racetrack. He just ripped. And this ride is my 96 Impala. It ain't got nothing on Masterpiece Chrome Illusion Impala, but
on a free throw. Now they come back down on the other end, and Rick Carlisle pointed up at the replay screen as if to say, if you guys had looked up there, you realize Reggie didn't touch that ball. Doesn't matter. It's going to be Miami's ball out of bounds. 7-point lead now.
And Reggie seems like an upstanding guy who's rarely lied.
I knew you were going to say something about that. Jones on the baseline. They needed that shot. Did they heat? They didn't get it. Here comes Tinsley on the run. What a pass. That's some speed on it over to Harrington.
That was scary. Thought he was a little out of control.
Minute left in the half. Harrington out to Tinsley. And he gets it right back to him.
Yeah, two New York legends going after each other there. Tinsley gets around Austin and delivers the perfect pass for the Dutch.
Miami.
Austin's got to keep his feet on that play. He allows Jamal Tinsley to get in the lane and drop that easy bounce pass off to Al Harrington.
Really the first run we've had in the game by either team. 10-3 to the home squad. Pacers with 50.8 seconds remaining in the half. Trying to take over the game here in the late stages of the second quarter. Harrington with a slam has given his team its biggest lead so far tonight. Pacers by 9. I said it was the first run of this game, but they've had some big ones earlier in the playoffs.
You look at these runs, and really what you want to look for are these numbers back here. The 8-4, 10-9, 5-3. I mean, you're talking about a team that plays defense when they're able to go on humongous runs. These runs are not small, and whenever you see that, you look at other teams, they'd be happy to have one run like that a month, not much less 5 games in a row.
Udonis Haslem with a tough shot off the glass.
And they're doing it at the right time, right before halftime. They're taking away Miami's momentum. They know they're in foul trouble. And Indiana's putting the killer punch on him right before half and being aggressive.
Reggie Miller might have gotten fouled on the follow-through. No call, but they'll get another chance. And there's about a 5-second difference in the shot clock and the game clock. No fouls to give either way here. Artest weaves around some traffic through it. Eddie Jones could have intercepted it, but he couldn't hold on to it.
Whenever Artest catches that ball and makes a move right away, he puts so much pressure on the defense. Then he was able to go along the baseline and get himself almost to the bucket.
Reggie Miller will inbound. Artest, Foster, Harrington, and Tinsley on the court with him here in the final 18 seconds of the half. 10 on the shot clock. Tinsley again rifles one to Harrington. Baseline jumper and a collision over on the weak side. It's going to be a foul on Foster.
Eddie Jones trying to box out the bigger Foster. Foster kind of threw him off and got caught by the referee, Bernie Fryer. And Eddie's going to go to the free throw line.
And Eddie, great free throw shooting during the regular seasons, dipped off a little bit in the playoffs, down to 75%, but 84% free throw shooter on the regular year when he led this club in scoring at 17.3. This is the guy that you said was going to have a good night if Miami was going to have a chance to steal one. And he had 5 points in the first quarter, but that's his first point of the second. Got them both. Touched the lead down to 5. Let's see what the Pacers do in the final 10 seconds of the half. Tinsley threw a double team, tried to get it inside, and it was deflected up and out of bounds with 1.6 left.
That was a great look. I love the way he split that double team, that little trap. Snuck right through it, had a man wide open. Just too many arms to get that ball through.
Reggie Miller came over and called the play. Artest will be the guy to inbound. Miller's the guy that's trying to get free with 1.6. Lofts one, and it goes! That's why he called his own number. The officials will officially have a look at it, but it looked good from here. the best three-point shooter in the history of the game with 1.6, called his own number. Artest got it to him right there. A moment of hesitation and let it fly. And it's good all the way.
And you might add that not only is the best three-point shooter, but he's the best in the clutch at shooting the three all time. Woo.
Wow. Reggie with 11 leads all scorers. Jermaine O'Neal has 8. She's with Doris.
Jermaine, once again, it was the defense that set the tone for your basketball team. You held Miami under 40% shooting. What were you doing so well on that end of the floor?
I don't know, just playing together. We still don't feel like we played the best defense that we normally play. We're giving up a lot of offensive rebounds, which is so unlike us. But we got to come out and raise up the intensity, control the boards, and get some easy transition points.
You were displeased with your own offense in game one. Tonight, balance around you continues to be the key. Is that what makes this team so dangerous?
So we're very dangerous. When we get guys going, we have so many different guys that can hurt you on both ends of the floor. When we get that type of effort from everybody, we're extremely tough to beat.
This is a persistent Miami team. What's your major concern in the second half?
Yeah, they're going to come out with a lot of energy. We just got to come out. We got to be able to match the energy, but still be a lot more physical than those guys and to play together on offense. If we do that, we'll win the game.
Thanks, Jermaine. Brad?
All right, Doris, thanks. Jermaine O'Neal with 8 points, but it was the old man, Reggie Miller, leading the way with 11. Don't forget Toyota halftime. For the Heat, all 6 quarters so far in this Eastern Conference semifinal series. They lead 44-36. As you take a look at the halftime statistics, neither team shooting that well, but it's the Heat that's having trouble scoring right now. And when you add to it their problems with the foul situation, and it hasn't helped their cause at all. Reggie Miller, though, I love it when my partners are the young guys, but I still consider Reggie an old guy in this league. He's the leading scorer with 11 points. He can do it all still at soon-to-be age 39.
He looks a lot better than we do, that's for sure. In much better shape. But look at him moving his feet. Reggie Miller there doing a fantastic job shutting off the baseline, and we talked about him moving without the basketball. No one better to catch and shoot. Look at this shot, just impossible. Nothing but the bottom.
And you know, he walked over. Jamal Tinsley was going to inbound the ball. Reggie came over with 3 fingers up and said, Artest, take the ball and get it to me, and he knocked it in right at the horn.
And he may look better than you, but he doesn't look better than me, Sean.
Got to get that straight right now, huh?
I can only go so far. Right?
I forgot. My bad.
Here we go, third quarter.
The supermodel / broadcaster next to me.
Oh, you don't have to call me that, John. Here's Odom, baseline. Got it. In game 1, it was Indiana that came out with an 11-0 run to kind of put that game out of reach. So far, the Heat knocking down the first jumper will prevent that. At least they hope so.
They don't go on runs. They go on marathons.
Well, they do.
They just put you away. 30-5, 30-8, whatever.
Here's O'Neal. He's also playing with 3 fouls. Kick out. Artest for 3. And Brian Grant with the 3 fouls. Obviously, starting this third quarter, gets his first rebound of the stanza.
For Miami to win the game, they're going to have all cylinders firing. One guy that's not firing, you see Wade there lay it up, is Caron Butler, who had a terrible first half, who's actually played good for this Miami Heat team. So they got to find a way to get him on track, along with Wade and Odom and Eddie Jones.
Great start for the Heat. They cut it to 4 immediately. O'Neal and Grant, the battle to watch. And O'Neal in traffic, has to just get rid of it. Karam's off the glass. Let's check in with Doris.
Well, Brad, Dan just touched on something the Miami Heat discussed in their locker room, the play of Caron Butler in particular. He said he's not making shots. He's 0 for 6. The problem is he's just trying to attack Artest individually. We need to set him in some pick and rolls and set him off some screens. On the other side of things, for the Indiana Pacers, they talked an awful lot about not giving up penetration, especially to the middle. They want to funnel to the sideline or baseline, use those lines as allies. Other than that, they were pretty pleased, guys.
Well, the Heat has more trouble because Lamar Odom was called for his 3rd foul, and Reggie Miller knocks down another 3.
You know, he catches that ball out there. It doesn't even look like he's got his feet set. And the ball is away.
Well, it's so hard to guard because he uses his screen so well, and all he needs is a fraction of a second to get that shot off.
Heat turns it over after their good start to the third quarter. They end up with a foul. Now another foul. And Eddie Jones has his 2nd.
Reggie, we talked about it at the beginning of the telecast, the way he moves without the basketball. He's never in a rush. He takes his time, like you said, Dan, he knows how to use his screens. He doesn't have to come out wide there. He cuts on the inside. Takes what the defense gives him.
The problem there with Eddie Jones' defense, you saw him on one side, and you want to force him one way, which he was trying to do. But the mistake he made, if you let him go the opposite way, then you just can't guard him. You got to force Reggie one way and be committed to following him around the other screens.
The Heat trailing by 7. Trying to steal one on the road. They're very good at home, and they know that. Wade has 4 in the quarter and 13 for the game. He's the leading scorer for Miami.
Kid's unbelievable, man. His poise, his strength, his ability to get to the basket and finish. It's fun to watch him play.
He's a sick joke on the rest of the league, that's for sure.
Here's Reggie in traffic. And a fadeaway. Fading too much. Missed the shot. Butler tracks down the loose ball. So an opportunity here to close the gap down to 3 or better, depending if they can score, and Odom does. Lamar's got 12.
Let me remind you, he's 6'9". See how he was able to handle that basketball, put it between his legs a couple times, went to the basket. Smooth move by Lamar Odom.
Down to 3, hasn't been this close in a while. Reggie on a runner, got it.
Good job by Indiana of spreading out the floor, reversed the ball. Reggie still got that quick step, put the ball on the floor one time and got to the basket.
16 for Reggie.
This is not good for me watching Reggie Miller. It's probably not good for you either, because then you think you can really go out there and still play.
This isn't one of you guys' horse games after practice.
Lamar Odom, we've talked about him the entire ball game. The difference between his previous 4 years and the way he's playing now just lulls Jermaine O'Neal to sleep, and that shows you his versatility, able to take the 6'10" power forward off the move. Lamar Odom with just versatile skills. He can go inside, outside. He can shoot the 3-ball. Unbelievable player.
Almost with a double-double here early in the third quarter, while Jones goes to the free throw line. Being fouled by Reggie Miller. 8 for Eddie Jones. 3-point game again as he hits them both.
Well, what about the experience this Heat team is getting? To go 7 games in that first round, hard-fought series with such a young ball club, how good are they going to be next year?
Artest hits a 3. Right back to 6. Well, that's the big thing, and Stan Van Gundy talked with all of us before the game about that very thing. I mean, it's priceless what they gained against New Orleans just by getting here. You're talking about a team that started the season 0 for 7. A lot of people make a lot of that. But when you look at their schedule early in the season, they had teams like Detroit and Minnesota at home. They had the Texas Triangle on the road, so they would have been good to win 1 or 2 anyway. But going from 0-7 to a second-round playoff, only twice has that happened in NBA history that somebody had started a season that poorly and made the second round of the playoffs. The 83 Knicks did it as well, but you're right. This is a team that's going to be on the rise big time next year.
And you forget that Van Gundy was handed the team right before the season started, so there was a lot of adjustment there, but what a job he's done. Look at the last 21, 17-4. That's as good or better than anybody else.
But make no mistake about it, even though he was handed it, he was prepared. I mean, that guy spends a lot of time when he was assistant, being the first one there, the last one to leave, knows his basketball, loves it, works hard, and does a great job.
Harrington with the travel.
But you know as well as I do, Dan, that when that head coach leaves, if he's not even at practice, the assistant coach better have a whole lot of respect. Otherwise, it's time for the mice to play. And Van Gundy came in, established respect, even though his team went 0-7, and turned that situation around.
That's what I mean. It's hard not to respect a guy when he's in the gym all the time working harder than the players. Much like, Coach Riley did when he was a coach. He was always there and he put in the efforts. And Coach Van Gundy's the same way. You see them working. You see he cares. He's honest. He tells you what he's thinking.
Reggie Miller sinking 3-ball.
Reggie!
That matches the biggest lead of the night. Reggie saying, I can't hear you. Now he can. You gotta love it. 38 going on. Rookie knocking down shots, turning on the crowd. turning up the heat on my X out of 9. 3 of 5 from outside the arc. Remember, he ended the second quarter with a 3 at the buzzer. The last one he shot had everybody standing the entire time out. You take a look, all-time postseason ranks. First in three-point attempts and makes, and closing in on 2,700 points.
Look at those points. That's a career for a lot of people.
Sure is. Check in with Doris.
Well, Brad, it was just 4 years ago when Reggie Miller was in the NBA Finals, fell 2 games short of an NBA championship. Donnie Walsh talks all the time about how he was willing to forego his ego, become deferential to the young superstars. Reggie said, I could have been a reluctant superstar and fought the transition, but for this franchise to remain on top, someone had to defer and step back. It happens every day in life. I was ready to do it. Donnie Walsh says, outside of David Robinson, he's never seen a player so willing to accept his role.
Well, last year, Reggie had career lows, at least since his rookie year. He averaged 12.6 points a game last year. He upped it to 13-3 this year. And it had only been 10 points in the playoffs so far, but tonight it's breakout night for Reggie Miller on his home floor. Still a 9-point game if the Heat can find some offense.
And it's not like Reggie's gotten a ton of easy looks. And he forced that one before halftime, got it to go. He's created shots for himself with his presence out there.
121 playoff games without an NBA title. Nobody has been with a team more than Stockton and Malone were with Utah, and then Reggie's next in line in his 17th year here in Indiana. That foul was on Tinsley, his second, as Wade was going through traffic. But Caron Butler is having a nightmare night.
He's just out of rhythm.
Artest goes up and got it, and he's fouled.
And there you see the strength of Artest. He just caused the contact himself, jumping into the Miami Heat player and being strong enough to finish.
It's almost like he's waiting on him.
Yeah, you see here, he's coming down. He's going to get the ball and watch him just jump in to Odom, cause the contact, and still have the strength to make the basket.
And to make matters worse for Odom, that's his 4th foul. And Artest will go to the free throw line. 13 for Ron. And Lamar will sit with his 4th personal.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Chuck Person, the rifleman. Last time I was here in Indiana, he told me they had to drag Ron Artest off of the court this year. He just called him a man. He said the guy ran through fatigue, would run through fatigue, work all day long, 3 or 4 hours a day in the gym. They had to literally beg him to get off the floor.
Well, the guy had ligament surgery on his thumb, and he only missed 5 games. A lot of guys sit out about 6 weeks with something like that. Pass inside. Malik Allen made a tough catch and had to get a shot off, and then the follow on the miss. And finally, Caron Butler is off the snide.
Well, Indiana did everything right there in the defensive end. They just forgot to box out, and Miami gets the offensive rebound.
That's Caron Butler's first field goal in the last 31 minutes of playing time in this series. O'Neal missed on the turnaround, and Allen comes up with a loose ball. Wade behind the back, leaves it off for Butler, and now he's fouled by Herring. Coming up tomorrow on TNT, don't forget the Pistons and the Nets, 8 o'clock Eastern time on TNT, with the Pistons out in front 2-0. Monday, Pacers and the Heat, 8 o'clock Eastern in Game 3. Timberwolves and the Kings, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Game 3, the Kings leading 1-0, and of course Game 2 in that series follows us tonight on our doubleheader night on this Saturday evening. And in Minneapolis, the Timberwolves desperately in need of a victory. And Joe Forte is not going to look over at that sign. I'm pretty sure Joe can read the bottom line. Butler.
You think?
I couldn't read it. What did it say?
Both free
It
throws
said
for
something
Butler.
at the bottom of it.
7-point game. Reggie Miller waiting over on the wing. And Artest has got it top of the circle with 8 on the shot clock. Now 3. Artest going to have to take it from the baseline. Forces one up, and it goes. You talk about living right. Stan Van Gundy's seen enough of those kind of shots, either at buzzers or desperation with the shot clock winding down. It'll last him a lifetime. Allen has it rejected inside, but Wade comes up with a loose ball, and now diving for it, he'll lose it as well.
And that's why Ron Artest is so special. You see him on the offensive end, isolating. You see, really doesn't have any kind of shot. Steps back, drains it, then comes down on the other end and makes a nice block. This guy's got the whole package.
4.5 to play in the third quarter. O'Neal, and they're going to call a blocking foul on Malik Allen there. That'll be his third.
I'll say it again. Is this a college game? How many charges have we had in this ball game?
We heard the trumpet sound for the charge, and we got another one.
That was a block.
I mean, blocks, charges, everything.
Reggie Miller will inbound.
Just have guys falling all over. Every time there's a penetration, guys are trying to step in front.
We got two hard-nosed defensive teams who like putting their body, their nose in front of people. You see a lot of guys, like you said, hitting the floor because they're absorbing the contact anytime you drive.
Miller again. This one won't go. Wade all alone for the rebound.
And this place would have erupted if you would have made that one.
You're not kidding. Boy, tell you what, Pacers know where Wade is on the court at all times. Brian Grant just strong arms one inside. That's only his second field goal.
They may know where he's at, but they can't do anything with him. They even try to trap him. He's so strong, he either gets around it or splits the double team, finds his teammates. It's an impressive rookie.
Rick Carlisle wants to talk it over. It's a 7-point game with 3:52 remaining in the third quarter. Pacers in front at home.
Let's check in with Doris Burke back in Indiana.
Guys, back here at Conseco Fieldhouse, where the lead remains 7 for the Indiana Pacers. And after game one, Jermaine O'Neal upset with his offense. He did not think his footwork on that side of the ball was very good. In particular, it was his footwork. So before the game tonight, working with associate head coach Mike Brown, working on exactly how Miami was electing to defend him. Miami coming with doubles sometimes. They're also trying to front him in the post. Mike Brown, one of the leading candidates for a head coaching position should one come open. But for Jermaine O'Neal, it's been a struggle. He has not shot the ball well, and luckily for him, guys, it's the people around him and the balance and the depth that have made all the difference for Indiana. Got to believe that eventually he'll get back on track.
Only 3 field goals tonight. He was 5 of 17 from the floor the other night in game one. Mike, the Pacers associate head coach, there are some openings out there. The New Orleans Hornets let Tim Floyd go. Terry Stotts is out in Atlanta. Toronto still without a head coach. There are spots. 4 on the shot clock. Harrington, fadeaway jumper. Malik Allen up there to get the rebound.
Good to see Bibby cutting those nails, because some of those guys out there are like lethal weapons.
I tell you what, Bibby's been a lethal weapon so far in the playoffs. Really has stepped up. Having huge games.
Return to that form he showed 2 years ago.
And now Wade goes down. And Artest goes the other way. 17 for Artest. Lead swells back to 9. Artest with 9 and Miller with 8. They've got all 17 of the Pacers' points this third quarter that has 3 minutes left. Allen. And you know the Heat doesn't want to live on Malik Allen taking jumpers out there, but they've got to find somebody.
They look like they've lost a little bit of energy here to end this third quarter. The Heat have to pick it up and try to get a flourish one into 4.
Great wraparound pass by Tinsley, and O'Neal finished it off. The only problem is Jermaine looked like he landed kind of funny, and he's limping up court right now. That's his first field goal since the first quarter.
But you see the effort by the Miami Heat. First off, on the offensive end, they're all standing around. And then on the defensive end, they allow Jermaine O'Neal to go along the baseline and get an easy dunk. Not typical the way they play.
Allen misses 2 in a row. Artest the rebound. The lead is 11, 2:07 remaining in the third quarter.
Probably not what Stan Van Gundy wants is Malik Allen coming down and shooting 217 foot jumpers.
I don't think so. O'Neal and Allen get tangled up. And the foul's going to be on Malik Allen. That'll be his 4th.
That previous possession, Jermaine O'Neal able to go along the baseline. Little pick and roll here. Great pass by Tinsley. You see no one at the rim to even challenge Jermaine O'Neal.
You look at that play, you can see Harrington actually holds the defensive player. Now
3, but he has a place on the water down there. And
The
says,
South Beach effect.
South Beach. He says, I'm just going to sit back and listen to the ocean and get ready for game 3 and 4. And we'll be down there for game 4 next Wednesday.
Can you listen to the ocean where he lives in South Beach?
I think he's probably going to hear some little salsa action going on more than the waves probably.
South Beach will get you every time.
Hey, that's Thunder's old stomping ground. So,
oh yeah,
you know,
I'll take care of you guys. Don't worry.
good. We need some guidance. 5 on the shot clock. Udonis Haslam, pretty nice move to work his way to get fouled by Harrington. Let's check in with Doris.
Brad, just an update on Jeff Foster, who remains back in the Indiana Pacers locker room. He has a bruised right hip. He will not return to game 2, guys.
Okay. Jeff kind of does the dirty work for the Pacers, the starting center. And again, Jermaine O'Neal with the quad problem, I guess, as he's going to try to work it out over there. Meanwhile, Udonis Haslam misses the free throw. Haslam, a guy who's basically a rookie, too. He is a rookie in the NBA, played last year in France. Former Florida Gators star, and he can't get either one of the free throws, so the lead remains 12. Final 1:20, quarter 3. Johnson, Crozier, Jones, Artest, and Harrington on the floor. Artest to kick out, Freddie Jones 3, and he got it.
Ron Artest, how often do you see a defensive player of the year with his type of offensive skills, where he's setting other people up, he's got enough game where he can get his own shot off? Just a complete player.
Ryan Grant, nice move on the baseline, got his man in the air and took it to the rack, as Ryan has 7, but you saw it was a 10-2 run again for the Pacers prior to that basket by Grant. Almost through 3 quarters here. Don't forget, game 2 Western Conference semifinals between Sacramento and Minnesota will follow us. Sacramento's already taken home court advantage away from the Timberwolves.
What effort by Al Harrington.
Grant again, offensive foul this time, and that's 4 on him.
And there's another charge for you, Sean.
I'm not commenting.
Charge of the Light Brigade here in Indianapolis.
Just better not leave your feet in this game, because you know that somebody's going to be there to take the charge.
5 offensive fouls on Miami and 2 on the Pacers. Final 26 seconds, 2 seconds difference on the game and shot clock, as you see. And no fouls to give. Everybody's going to feel the effects of this and have a few bruises tomorrow when it's over.
That's what you love about both these teams, though. They just continue to fight and scratch. That's what I love about Indiana. They have all the talent in the world, and they put it together. They play extremely hard, tough-nosed basketball, and Miami's hanging right there with them.
Everybody we talked to on the Pacers, to a man, said, we know one thing about Miami. They're not going to go away, and they won't quit. We've got a quarter left as Johnson in the paint goes up and in. Anthony Johnson.
You're right, they're not going to quit, but you can see Indiana's depth just wearing out Miami right now.
Final seconds. And the lead has gone to 15 now for the hometown Pacers. Reggie was a big part of it early in the quarter. 19 still leads the way. Some of the greats that have played here. Mel Daniels, his number in the rafters, and he's on the baseline. I like the shirt, Mel. Players director of player personnel.
Probably has the strongest handshake I've ever felt in my life. I mean, he almost crushed my hand in the media room. I was like, couldn't even use a fork after that. I had to eat the chicken with my hand.
Through 3 quarters, the Pacers, led by Reggie Miller, taking command by 15. The Heat had trouble all night finding scores. They got some early foul trouble. It didn't help the cause. They cut it down to 3 at 49-46 with about 8.5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. And then the Pacers went on a 28 run to close the quarter from that point.
You can just see Indiana, too much depth. I mean, they're just firing guys at Miami right now.
That's what I said. I thought they looked tired, like they had lost a little bit of the resolve, and you said they're just getting worn down, and it's exactly right.
They've been so great at home. Long winning streak in Miami, and they're going to have to lean on that, obviously, if this continues to go as it's going right now tonight. You can get an all-access look at the NBA playoffs. Tune in to the NBA TV playoff show, Destination Finals, every weeknight on NBA TV. You can just see the looks on their faces. They had hoped so much to be able to steal one here.
They're going to need that Miami crowd behind them because that's where they get a lot of their energy, and you can see why they're such a good home team. But when you're out here on the road, there's no one cheering for you. You got to draw your energy from the guys on the bench, the guys on the floor. Right now, they just don't have enough.
And they've done nothing on the fast break either. And Odom got 1 of 2. Lamar and Dwayne Wade, each with 13, lead the way. But they need a lot more than that. Miami, in the second quarter, had a stretch where they had only 1 field goal in 6.5 minutes. In the third quarter, they had 1 field goal in the final 4 minutes. And so that just gives you an idea of the gaps in scoring from the floor for Miami tonight, and the reason that they're down 16 with 11 minutes to go.
Well, I've been impressed by the ball movement that Indiana has. They move the ball and they move their bodies, and the ball swings from one side to the other, and that usually ends up in a good shot when you're playing against a good defensive one-on-one team like Miami.
That's the only way. When they get caught playing one-on-one, when Ron Artest is holding the ball, when Al Harrington's holding the ball, that's when the Heat are at their best because the defense doesn't have to move. They're allowed to tee up on you.
Artest and O'Neal and Reggie Miller all on the Pacer bench right now. With Johnson and Bender and Crozier and Pollard and Jones on the floor. Crozier's got an open look. And he's missed 3 times with openings outside the arc, and he's a good three-point shooter normally. Hasn't found it tonight. Alston packs it inside to Haslam, and he's fouled.
Good job by Haslam there, flashing up to the high post from the weak side. Alston making a nice delivery, has him going to the free throw line.
I like the footwork. Catching the ball in the lane. He stepped right through. It was a Scott Pollard, went right around him.
Udonis Haslam back at the line where he missed his last 2. And got that one. Don't forget, Kings and the Timberwolves, Game 2, Western Conference semifinals from Target Center. Minneapolis follows us as Minnesota desperately needs a win over Sacramento as the Kings swipe that home court advantage that the Timberwolves have been working on, and finally, after 7 years of frustration, getting through the first round of the playoffs, and then to have it, that momentum kind of choked right out of them the other night. They desperately need a win. That'll be our second game. Pollard going up. He's fouled by Haslam.
Here's a great example of the ball movement by Indiana. Crozier with a bullet pass to Pollard underneath. He gets fouled.
So Scott Pollard, who came to the Pacers in the Brad Miller transaction, played 23 games with Sacramento last year, has had injury problems. His lower back was a big concern last year when he was with the Kings. Hasn't seen much time so far in the playoffs, but he'll go to the free throw line in his 7th year out of Kansas.
That'd be a good look for you, Sean. You should try that look.
I said on previous telecasts, he has the Amish look going. It's brother Hezekiah Pollard.
Well, he changes almost daily. Not only sometimes the hair color and the facial hair to boot. He got 1 of 2.
I think it's time to change again.
Could be. Unless, of course, he wants to make his own furniture. and do so without electricity. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Crozier. Now, you can't get more open than that. And finally, he got it to go. Timeout, Miami. Austin Crozier keeps working it till he gets it right. Squares and fires. 9th different Pacer to score. He's been waiting for that 3 ball, and he got it. The bench doing its job. The starters on the bench loving it. Former Pacer star in the house here at Conseco. Look up, 6 remaining in the ball game. Austin Crozier knocked down the 3 right before the break.
But watch his guide hand. That's his left hand. He's fighting himself on that shot. I mean, his guide hand should be on the left side of the basketball. Instead, it's directly in front of it. It's just like Reggie Miller. He shoots with his guide hand on top of the basket.
That's not awesome. That's Jimmy Chitwood from the Hoosiers. I'll make it, coach.
Well, the Pacers have outscored the Heat by 18 from behind the arc tonight. Coincidentally, the lead is 18. 10 minutes left.
That just goes to show if you practice enough, you get the hang of it. It doesn't matter what your technique is like.
And Miami's getting caught watching the paint dry right now because they're about to go to Miami down 2.
And Stan Van Gundy knows that there's never been a rookie coach be down 2-0 and come back to win a series. Anthony Johnson knocks down the jumper and a chance to add to it. Reggie Miller can be a cheerleader the rest of the way, it appears. It's a 20-point game.
And it's the guys on the bench for the Indiana Pacers that are extending this lead.
We talked about their depth. 10 guys that see a lot of action, including this fella who played with New Jersey last year. So he's been not only the Eastern Conference Finals, but the NBA championship as well. He was a backup to Jason Kidd. Anthony got the deuce, but he didn't get the free throw. But he's got 8 points off that Pacer bench. 77-57 with 9.5 to play.
And they're doing it against the starters for the Miami Heat. You know, Alston is the only one that's not a starter on the floor.
Miami looks tired right now, and maybe they should. They had to battle for 7 against New Orleans just to get here. That guy doesn't look too tired.
That kid's unbelievable.
He's really good.
I'm telling you.
And there's no question he's going to be a star.
He already is a star.
And the way, you know, just not only what he does physically, but mentally, he looks like
Look
at Willis' team to win.
Odom. And Odom with 15. He and Wade lead the way. It just hasn't been enough for the Heat. And Rick Carlisle's going to take another timeout with 8:44 remaining. 16-point game.
Look at those runs there. 30-8, 24-4. Those are over a large period of time, and that just tells you the team is playing defense. They have offensive weapons. And like we said earlier, you know, you do it 6 games in a row. Some teams are happy to do it once or twice a month.
You know, the West better be wary of Indiana.
Oh, no question.
I mean, everybody talks about how much better the West is, but Indiana is a great team.
Well, that's a mistake because Detroit or Indiana, depending on the matchup, can beat anybody else out there. And we've said it all along. This Indiana Pacers team, I had both games. I saw both games, rather, where Indiana played at San Antonio. Should have won that game there. They didn't have big performances out of Artest or O'Neal. Both those guys struggled during that ball game. Still should have won that game against the Spurs in San Antonio. Then came back a week later and beat the Spurs up here on their home court. Detroit is another monster. Defensively, they can stop anybody in the Western Conference. They're focused. They're well coached. They're deep. They have a tremendous bench.
It was a defensive 3 seconds call and the missed technical by Johnson, so Pacers will still have the ball up front. There's the record. You saw 20-8. We're going to hear what Jermaine O'Neal thought about that very topic before this game is over. Here he is in the low block against Brian Grant and scoring. Another relatively quiet night for O'Neal with 12, but his presence is always felt.
He gives a little nod to the gods that he finally made a bucket there, but for a big man, he's got such a soft touch and so much skill down there.
Wade, turnaround jumper. Odom keeps it alive. Another offensive rebound for Lamar. Trying to tip it. He's going to have double figures in offensive rebounds if he stays there too long.
Did the Moses Malone.
Toss it to yourself off the glass. There you go.
17 points and 11 boards. 7 of those rebounds offensive for Lamar Odom. Heat still hanging around, down 16.
Moses was ridiculous, so he'd get like 5 offensive rebounds on 1 possession.
Here's O'Neal going inside, and he's fouled. We talked about how the Pacers have done against the West. Here's Jermaine O'Neal's thoughts.
We're on a mission right now. People have really been discrediting what we've been doing. You know, like we picked it, like we chose to play in the Eastern Conference. It is what it is. We don't make the schedules. We play the schedules. We went out west, handled the West. But nobody talks about that. Everybody talks about us playing in the Eastern Conference. We don't care who we play. we feel like if we play a 7-game series, we can beat anybody.
Eddie Jones missed. There was a technical foul on Rick Carlisle as we were hearing Jermaine O'Neal. I thought the thing that was the most revealing is not what he said. It's that little smile and where he timed it and when he said it. He knows they're good.
Well, you can see they got a bunch of confidence. They really do. This team that has put together a puzzle that, you know, O'Neal's third in the MVP. You got Artest, who's the Defensive Player of the Year. You got great role players coming off the bench.
You got Reggie Miller.
You got Reggie Miller, who's been there and can take over a game at any time. This is a team that's poised to go all the way, and they know it.
I think a big key to this team has been that point guard position. Tinsley's come in. He's much more mature than he has been in the past couple years. He's done a fantastic job leading this team. He knows it's his team. And then when he goes to the bench, let's not forget about Anthony Johnson and his role the past few years backing up Jason Kidd of the New Jersey Nets. So he probably has one of the premier backup point guards, and he's doing a fantastic job himself.
Odom, great pass, and then worked his way through traffic and hammered on the baseline. 19 for Odom. Here is Anthony Johnson that Sean was talking about, feeding it in low to Freddie Jones, and he's fouled. That's going to be on Dwayne Wade. That'll be his fourth.
It's a lot different. The pressure's a lot different when you know it's your team. He's not looking over his shoulder. He's not wondering if Kenny Anderson is going to come in and take his spot. He's not worried about if Anthony Johnson is pressing him for the starting position. He's earned it by a mile, and he's doing a fantastic job again.
Remember this time last year, his mom was dealing with an illness. There's Kenny Anderson sitting to his left. And that weighed heavily on Tinsley, too. And Rick Carlisle was saying, you know, he has matured so much, not just as a player, but as a person as well, and has had things go much more smoothly this year, and that all adds up. Here's Alston outside for three. And Odom almost had another rebound, didn't get it. The Heat has only one three-pointer tonight. We talked about their three-point shooting woes in the playoffs. Came in at 25%. It's not getting any better tonight. And now Dwayne Wade throws his shoulder, and he picks up his fifth foul. Harrington holding his ground.
It's another charge. but I like that because Dwayne Wade threw a fake on Al Harrington, and Al Harrington didn't bite at all. He held his ground. He tried to throw that little behind-the-back pass fake. Here it is right here. Watch that fake. Al Harrington.
Nice collision.
Yeah, not good enough that time.
O'Neal and Grant still battling it out here with 6:35 to play. 6 on the shot clock. And Alston almost had a steal, and now Bender goes up, but he's fouled by Grant. And that is it for Bryant. Fouls out with 6:27 to go. And what big man they have, and he's not that big, is gone.
No, good effort by Bryant. Undersized, overmatched, playing against all these big guys. Not feeling 100%, never talks about it, but just a true warrior and give you 100% every time he plays.
Jonathan Bender at the free throw line. And now Tinsley does come back in. Anthony Johnson goes out. Second one goes for Bender. He's got 5 off the bench. 19-point game in the last 6.5 minutes. Eddie Jones going back to the beginning of the ball game, and my man Thunder said Eddie Jones has got to play well. He has no field goal since late in the first quarter.
He hasn't gotten any looks.
Yeah, they were aggressive early in the game, running him off the screens, and he was doing a good job of coming off the screens tight and just catching his shooting. And I think this Indiana team is too good defensively to just give him a ball and expect to do something one-on-one.
Not only that, but the Heat, they haven't gotten out in the open court at all.
Not one fast break point. Well, actually, they did have
Lamar Odom got a layup, but you know, other than that, they haven't gotten any easy buckets whatsoever. The Pacers have gotten back on defense. They forced them into being a half-court team. And when you take away 10 or 15 easy buckets a game, and you're stuck in the half court having to grind it out, it makes the game a lot tougher.
Harrington picks up. Actually, O'Neal picked up the 5th foul. Haslam continues to struggle at the free throw line. Tomorrow on ABC, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, Game 3, Spurs and the Lakers. Our coverage starts with Mike Tirico and the guys, 3 o'clock with GMC NBA Hang Time. Udonis got the second one. He has 5 points off the Miami bench. Just over 6 minutes left in the ball game. O'Neal draws a double team from Odom. 4 on the shot clock. Gets it back. Puts a move on. Goes up and he's fouled. And that's going to be on Odom. And that'll be his 5th. Jermaine O'Neal will be at the free throw line when we come back with his team leading 84-66. Always be on track when it counts. Reggie Miller. The 3-pointers going. That one at the end of the second quarter. He has 19. Hasn't had to play much in the second half. Austin Crozier helping the bench to a 33-12 advantage over Miami. And the fast break points, Lamar Odom had that one slam on a steal. Otherwise, Indiana with the edge in that as well. So it's all Pacers right now. They lead by 18 with 5:52 remaining. And Jermaine O'Neal at the free throw line.
Well, the bench points is the big story here because these guys just keep coming at you in waves. I mean, Miami's only playing 8 guys. And Indiana just has guys coming off the bench and producing.
My question to you guys right now is, with 15 points and the game about to be a 20-point game, does Jermaine O'Neal need to be in there anyway?
I was just going to say, I mean, 1 or 2 more trips down the floor, and that's it. You got to give him some rest. You don't want to risk him getting injured out there.
Remember, he was a little gimpy after that one slam dunk on the baseline. Seemed to have landed funny. And you would think maybe the next stoppage of play, he's gone and ready to go down to that place in Miami and wait for game 3.
Yeah, I agree. Or maybe just trying to get him on track a little bit because he hasn't played well in these 2 games. But I agree with you guys both. He should probably get out of there and not risk any type of injury.
Wade leaves it over. Haslam missed in close. O'Neal got the rebound and somehow got the outlet out to Tinsley. Falling down on the baseline and threw it the length all the way out to midcourt to Tinsley. And timeout taken by the Pacers. And Freddie Jones, the guy holding his left elbow as he goes to the bench. 5:19 left, 85-66 Indiana. It's his crowd, his team, and his team is soon to be the first team in NBA history to win 6 straight playoff games by double-digit margins. They lead by 19 with 5:19 left. Of course, Detroit can match that. They've won 5 games straight in the playoffs by double figures as well. Their next game is against New Jersey on TNT tomorrow.
Well, as you said, they haven't been tested yet, but I can guarantee you when they go back to Miami, they're going to find a whole new team. Miami's won like 16 in a row back in their arena, so they're going to come out and bring it right at Indiana.
Odom had a drive all the way to the inside from coast to coast and didn't get the shot.
And I'm going to beat Sean in golf.
That'll be something to watch.
You can do that left-handed, buddy. What are you trying to say? Is that remarkable?
Just trying to ruffle your feathers.
You play 5 or 6 days a week, and I play about 5 or 6 times a year.
All I know is I know my mind's right and your body all toe up.
But the spirit's still with you. Artest on the outside. That's 20 for Artest, so he'll take top scoring honors probably in the ballgame as he did in game 1 with 25. And Reggie sitting with his 19, so that's about the way it's going to end. Odom had it stripped by Artest. Clean steal.
Well, Miami's got to find something to bring out of this game that's positive. They could do that going home, and with, like Dan said, winning 16 in a row in their own arena.
Well, the only thing positive is they are going home. I mean, they've run into a buzzsaw. First of all, This is a hard place to play. The second Indiana's got the best record in the league. They got a deep bench. Reggie has a great game. I mean, they just had no shot.
And they had that early foul trouble, and now the foul trouble is finished for Brian Grant, Lamar Odom. They have both fouled out.
Well, at one point, I don't know what the bench scoring is now, but it was 33-12 just a few minutes ago in favor of Indiana, and that just goes to show, like you said, just too deep, too talented, too physical. Indiana Pacers are a team to be reckoned with.
And remember, they tied Minnesota for the best road record on the regular season, 27-14. So even though they know they're going into a very, very tough place, whereas Dan said 16 straight for the Heat, this is just going to bolster their confidence even more. 6 straight wins in the postseason, and all in decisive fashion. And now technical as Tinsley and Haslam get tangled up.
So Artest is out on the floor. You have Artest, you have O'Neal out there, Harrington. About time for these guys to take a seat.
I think so too. Udonis Haslam has been teed up. All this for Jermaine O'Neal. Go back to the free throw line is a little bit of a stat patter for him. He's hit 5 of his last 6 from the free throw line. Misses that one. Take another look at the tangled weave underneath, and a little shove there as Artest got tangled up with Haslam, and Udonis gave him a little forearm shiver.
Haslam got a nice shot to the nose right before that. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. You always get caught on the second one.
Always get caught.
And now Stan Van Gundy's gotten one as well.
Well, Bill Spooner must not have got enough peanuts on the plane because he's upset.
We'll throw him a Snickers bar or something.
Did he?
So just what we need is a game elongated by free throws. That is.
And Stan Van Gundy, when he walked in the room today, he just had a big smile on his face. He was upbeat, and I said, you're in a much better mood than your brother is half the time we see him. And he said, I could be depressed, and I'll be in a better mood than my brother when he's at his best.
Not going to have that smile when this one's over. But they've done a remarkable job just to get to this point. And he said, we don't want to look at it like we're not capable of beating these guys, because then you're beaten right away if that's the kind of approach you have. He says the Pacers are a team that's out looking to win a championship, and we've got to take it to them. And if we don't play with that same intention, then we're going to get blown out. Kenny Anderson has got blocked by Malik Allen inside.
And his brother, just for people that don't know out there, Jeff Van Gundy of the Houston Rockets.
Is his little brother. Don't forget, Kings and the Timberwolves following us in about 3 minutes. O'Neal on a fadeaway. Allen gets a shoulder in there and has a collision down low with Anthony Johnson. With 3:02 remaining. Johnson picks up the foul.
I really would like to see Jermaine O'Neal now off the floor, along with Ron Artest.
Yeah, this is a type of game and a type of time when people get hurt because it's getting real sloppy out there. Guys going to the hole and people taking hard fouls. So, Jermaine O'Neal is taking a seat tonight. Not a great game for him, but you know what? They got the job done. They got the 2 wins here. Now they got to go to Miami and find a way to win there.
Artest now coming out, so is Harrington. Standing ovation for the stars of the Pacers. And the other star's been on the bench, resting that 38-year-old body. I'm talking about Reggie Miller, who's the guy that really started to put the knife in Miami a long time ago.
He's put a knife in a lot of people.
Sure has.
Proving he still belongs out here at 38.
No doubt. Pollard didn't see the ball coming. Turns it over. Here's Wade. I was hoping he was going to get by everybody in the open floor just for one more highlight. Kenny Anderson picks up the foul. Tomorrow, coming up on ABC, don't forget, start things off with GMC NBA hang time at 3 o'clock. Then at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Game 3, Spurs and the Lakers. And the Lakers down 2-0 to the defending world champions. Need a win at Staples Center. Al Michaels, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya bring you that one tomorrow on ABC. Dwayne Wade, 16 points on the night. Odom and Grant both have fouled out. Caron Butler was not a factor offensively on the night again, as he really struggled, had his 4 points all in the third quarter. But Sean, I'll give you one. Caron Butler did have 1 steal tonight, so that's 9 straight preseason games he's had at least 1 steal, and that matches the consecutive postseason steal mark of one Dan Thunder Marley.
You're kidding.
No.
I hold all kinds of records for the Heat. Are you kidding me?
Aren't you glad I got that in there, partner?
I appreciate it.
You got it.
Oh, no, I can't live with the guy tonight. I mean, hey, it's tough enough already.
Drinks are on me, Brad.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
buddy.
hey, it's that easy.
Not for you, Sean.
Here's Bender from the wing. And Rasul Butler with the rebound. Dwayne Wade got a little bit ahead of himself
He
there.
faked himself out that time. See Anthony Johnson trying to force himself in that little seam there. These guards nowadays, and they're so adept at getting in gaps and little seams and splitting traps. How many times you see guys come off pick and rolls this year and split traps and double teams? It's been absolutely amazing. The skill level at that position is just skyrocketing.
Nobody can shoot anymore.
Really. Johnson an opportunity to hit double digits here. If he hits the free throws, that guy can shoot.
Except for him. He can shoot. Him and Sean. Sean can shoot.
Anthony Johnson is 0 from the free throw line.
I think you learned that the hard way a couple weeks ago. Minnesota.
Hey, rematch. You were working out. You were getting your tryout for the Spurs. Oh, I'm coming back.
Yeah, that's why he had his stroke down.
Look out, world. I'm coming back.
He didn't have his legs, though, I'll tell you that much. He's walking around with cramps for 4 days.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you have to learn your lesson the hard way.
That poor guy was in traction after the workout.
Yeah, actually, I felt fine. It was the next morning you wake up, you're like, is that my groin? Hadn't felt that in 3 years.
Pacers will be up 2-0 heading to Miami. What's the Heat got to do, guys, in Game 3 now on Monday?
A lot. I mean, they got to have big games from all their guys. You just can't have enough game. Wade has proven that he's going to come out and play. You got Eddie Jones, who started off hot but didn't finish the job. Lamar Odom, I thought, had a solid game, but you got to have Caron Butler, and just everybody plays has an outstanding game, because Indiana, let's face it, has got more talent, more depth than this Miami team right now. The only thing they got going for them, Miami, is that they played well at home, and they're going to have a lot of confidence.
Exactly. They got to have all those fans out there screaming and yelling as hard as they can.
They'll scream for this kid. 19 for Dwayne Wade. And we've been talking about his game all night long, and he, of course, was one of the starting 5 on the Got Milk all-rookie team. He's got milk, and he's got game. He's got massive game. Final 45 seconds. Bender. Austin looking to run. The lead for Butler. And Rasul Butler scores.
That's a too fast break there, finally. 30 seconds left in the ball game.
Don't forget, Kings and Timberwolves. Minnesota desperate for a victory at home at Target Center. In Conseco Fieldhouse, the Pacers wanted to put the Heat in the 2-0 hole, and they're 20 seconds away from doing that very thing. Dozier on a drive.
Oh, another charge.
What a surprise.
Got to be a dozen in this game.
The lead is 11, and they walk the other way, and I may have spoken too soon about the double-digit drama. Could be. That's if the Heat hits a shot. If not, they'll stay in the record books. Malik Allen, it's going to stay in the record books. 6 straight by double digits. Perfect 6-0 so far in the playoffs. So even more resounding and the score will indicate. Pacers win 91-80. Don't forget, Kings and the Timberwolves are coming up from Minneapolis next. 2-0 as they head to Miami. It's going to wrap it up for Sean Elliott, Dane Marley, and Doris Burke. I'm Brad Nessler. Good night from Minneapolis.